your hot and techie Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
Well, Saturday night was about speed in Lucknow, as the world will now take note of 21-year-old Mayank Yadav. When he came on to bowl in the 10th over, Punjab finished that over with 10 runs to take them to 98 without loss. Our win probability had them at 67%. It never went that high after that. Mayank Yadav has made an impact on the IPL. Punjab have lost their way, and they've lost this game by 21 runs to give the Super Giants their first points of IPL 2024 in a game that I'm sure on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout that Varun Aaron will take personal pleasure in. So too will Mitch McClenaghan and Tom Moody, in the fact that everyone called the win. Let me start with a man who enjoys this maybe even more deeply than we all do. Go on then, Varun.
I mean, it was beautiful watching somebody bowl that quick, and like Tom pointed out while we were sitting and watching the game, his lines were really, really good. Sometimes when you're maxing out and you're trying to bowl as fast as possible, sometimes you can be a little extra on the offside or straight down the leg side. Not one ball. I think it's really good signs for not just for him, for Indian cricket, because he's bowling some serious gas.
Go on, guys. Mayank Yadav, that's the question.
Yeah, look, an absolute delight to see a talent like that come out of nowhere. Obviously, there's a few scouts out there that knew that he was about, but to jump onto the IPL scene and bowl over 155, but maintain an average pace of high 140s throughout his spell is incredibly impressive. There's so much to like about him. The control for one, his action looks really good, without sort of breaking it down, from a biomechanical point of view. There's a lot of things happening there that are in his favour. Wow. I can't wait to see him bowl again.
Let's break it down on a biomechanical point of view.
Yeah, I was actually looking at his action. I went to the Hawkeye guys. Oh, sorry, Mitch.
No,
go for it.
No, you're the one studying it.
We can stay here all night.
No.
Saturday night,
You're
come
the
on.
one studying it, mate.
No, I mean, it's just, he uses, number one, he hardly spends any time on his back foot, really quick through it. Though he's a side-arm bowler, generally side-arm bowlers spend a lot of time on their back foot. He's just ball of the feet and out of there. He uses his levers really well, similar to Jofra. He's not a similar bowler to Jofra Archer, but just like the way his load comes down, uses his levers really well. Beautiful braced front leg. His foot doesn't even splay even this much. It's straight on to the batsman. Unbelievable follow through. What else do you want? I mean, he's just
now,
machine.
dummy it down for me, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
So, no time on the back foot and all the other technical terms you use. Come on, I'm the novice here.
Well, it all comes down to, when Varun's talking about no time on the back foot, it's how quickly can you transfer the power from your back foot to your front foot. So your momentum, the less time you spend on the back foot, the less energy you lose through the crease. And his feet are fast through the crease, and it's exciting to see such a nice flow. I want to talk about the situation of the game, though, as well. You had Shikhar Dhawan in there, just got past his 50.
Yep.
You had Johnny Bairstow hitting it to all parts. He ended up getting him out on 42. You had two set players and two high-quality set batsmen in Shikhar and Johnny Bairstow, and they were jumping around straight away. And for me, that's a sign of some serious pace. We were sitting there after the first couple of balls going, surely it can't be that fast. And then you see the ball hit the bat. You see Shikhar jumping around. The whole innings, Shikhar had been standing still. And as soon as that pace got up there, he was moving around the crease, trying to use the pace. And he really rattled a few cages. And there was a nice little period between Bishnoi and Mayank there, where Johnny faced four dot balls. And then that wicket came. And that was the turning point in the game tonight.
Shades of Umran Malik, I'm sure. But we've also seen how that story, when I talk about the story, someone who just came out of nowhere and blew us away with his breathtaking pace. We now sit here today, 2-3 years on, concerned about an Umran Malik, the difference and the breakdown, and temper the expectation.
Same pace, same excitement initially up front. My initial take on Mayank versus Umran is that there's a better action and repeatable action with what we've seen tonight in Mayank. He's still 21, so it's really important that he's managed carefully, physically, because fast bowler, that's a real red zone for a fast bowler between the age of 18 to 25. So I'm sure that the experts will have their arms around him, protecting him and making sure that they get him strong in the right areas. Umran, there's a lot more going on at the crease with regards to his action. So therefore, the control isn't there, but the pace is there.
Yep.
So, what Umran needs to work on is obviously that control at the crease, sort of making his action cleaner, where, what we've seen tonight is, another step ahead with regard. And that's just come naturally. He's been gifted with that, and he's just started to bowl. It's very hard to get someone that hasn't got a brace front leg to suddenly learn how to brace their front leg as a fast bowler. You either got it or you haven't got it. It's very hard to develop it.
Yeah.
The story of Mayank Yadav, we're all going to try and trace it back now, but the Super Giants picked them up at the big auction, the first time that they had to assemble a squad. He was only 19 at the time, did not play the entire season, ruled out with injury the next with hamstring. As soon as he was available, fast-tracked into the national scheme of things, played the Deodhar Trophy, impressed. He's only played a handful of games. This is where anything can happen. They didn't release him. After 2 seasons of keeping him, you tend to think, okay, do we need to invest in him? How much credit to the franchise here for holding on to him?
I think first identifying him. It's a tick. It's great scouting. Obviously managing his physical side and the expectation around that, and being patient with him.
Yes.
Another tick. And at the end of the day, if you've got, because I'd imagine he would have got picked up at base price.
Yes.
In that mega
That is
auction.
Right. Yep.
So even if he returns, well, he's won a game tonight. To me, he's player of the match without a doubt.
Yep.
In my view, I don't know what's going to happen at the ground, but even if he has an impact in 2 or 3 more games, maybe not to this extent, wow, that's paid off.
And as far as in all those things considered, management has shown faith, franchise wants you, they've helped you through getting to your fittest. First IPL game, opposition right in front. I mean, there's a better chance things will go wrong than right.
I mean, first IPL game, 4 overs, 27 runs, 3 wickets. I mean, that's really, really good. And I really feel that he believes in his skill, believes in himself.
Yeah.
Because even after Shikhar played like him for a boundary, he didn't really change his plans. He stuck to his guns, which is really good, which shows that a player believes in his ability, knows that if he sticks to his strength, he's going to come out a winner on the other side.
Last question to you on this before I invite questions from all of you who might have joined us, and there's a lot on Mayank Yadav already. The use of Mayank Yadav, tearaway fast bowler brought into the side here. Tell us a bit more about Nicholas Pooran, the captain, as well.
Yeah, well, what can I say? I mean, he took over the captaincy in the MLC, ended up being champion, went to the ILT 20, his second gig as skipper, ended up being ILT 20 champion. Everything Nicholas Pooran touches at the moment is turning to gold. And the way he led the team tonight, he was brave at the top. He let Siddharth bowl a second over. The first over was very good. The second over wasn't as good as Siddharth would have liked, but he showed faith. He showed faith in him to be able to do a good job at the top. And I thought his management of the bowlers through the middle was very good. And I mean, he's got the asset of Mayank Yadav, but it's what we haven't seen in the tournament a lot so far is spin being broken up with a genuine quick. And it's such an advantage. So I think it's a massive tick for Nicholas Pooran in terms of how he captained the side tonight, but also a massive tick to the franchise that they've got those type of resources on the bench.
Realistically, how much cricket do you think he can play? Now that he's started like this, would you now say, he's a shoo-in? Now teams will start working on him, planning for him, all of that. What can be the expectations of Mayank Yadav this season with the way he started?
I think just don't put any expectations on him, and that's what his franchise should do. Just let him run in. He's young. Just let him express himself, bowl as fast as he can. And the good thing is he has Moni Mokal as bowling coach. Moni Mokal did he always played a similar kind of role, hit back of length really, really hard, and basically get batsmen out a similar way he's getting batsmen out. So it's also really important as a youngster to work with the right people. And I think Mone is a really good guy to work with Mayank at this point.
I do not want to burst his bubble, but if he plays the next game, I'd like to inform young Mr. Yadav, he'll be bowling at the Chinnaswamy. So we wish him well there.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, but bowling like he bowled tonight, you know, I'm sure he'll do as well as anyone else if he repeats what he's just done there. Copy and paste.
Yeah, that's where we want to just put a pin in the Mayank Yadav story. It's only been one game, 4 overs, brilliant, well done to him. Hats off. The world will take note now. The IPL will take note now, and we will see how Lucknow use him, how this sort of takes them forward. But let's just pick into the other elements. There are a lot of questions coming through as well on Punjab losing their way. Liam Livingston's become a question. Why did he come out to bat with injury? If Punjab Kings want to use him long term with the rest of the season intact, and also why not put faith in the local all-rounders that you have? You could have sent him in earlier. Thoughts on that?
I must admit, I thought he might have opened the batting purely on the basis of his injury. Therefore, you can manage the running between the wickets and the risk of making the injury worse than what it is. He's obviously got a quad strain. I don't think it's a major strain because just the way he was batting, you know, he was uncomfortable, but he wasn't in excruciating pain. The theory behind batting in the power play, you limit your running, so you could stand and deliver. 2 fielders are out in the, you know, out of the circle, and he could have easily just, you know, pumped the first 6 overs and got a quick 550.
Plus, if you lose this game tonight by 50, 60 runs, then that's going to affect your net run rate significantly. So they had to weigh up the balance of how bad the injury was. Could he be out for the tournament if he makes it worse? Obviously, they assessed that risk, and he was still able to go and bat. But, I mean, he got them close. 28 off 17. There was a significant innings in trying to, you know, limit the damage.
In fairness, at 100 odd without loss with your openers going like that, you might think you don't even need Livingston. It almost played as the best case scenario that they could have won this without the resource of Liam Livingston. Now, Rifat Jamal brings up Shikhar Dhawan, who was 50 of 30 and ends up getting out 70 of 50. Still a good innings, but that's a run ball 20 after the power play.
Mayank Yadav, man, he was just bowling some. I mean, you've got to give credit to the bowler because sometimes it's not just the batsman; it's also the bowler bowling really well, and you should give credit. You should give credit where it's due.
Simple as that.
And also Ravi Bishnoi. Let's not forget about him. He bowled some really important good overs in the middle as well. And I think they really used the dimensions really well. Mohsin Khan and Mayank Yadav compared to what Rabada did. I think Rabada, with his experience, he should have bowled a lot more pace on. The wicket had pace, especially that 6 of Krunal Pandya, second ball. I mean, when he was actually beating him for pace, they should have just continued. Maybe they would have been 20 runs. They would have given 20 runs lesser.
All right, they were sharper, won the Lucknow. A series of questions from Rocky, who's a regular on our post shows with the questions to the panel. I'll try and paraphrase it. But basically, it's a summation of Punjab saying the batting looks thin and the bowling is also poor. Batting does look thin after Bairstow and Shikhar Dhawan. And there's just a lot of criticism on just something missing about Punjab.
Well, there's likely going to be a forced change, right? So Livingston's going to come out. Do they bring in another local batsman into that lineup and play Nathan Ellis? Does he come into that side to try and shore up the back end of the innings for them from a bowling point of view? So I guess those are answers that we'll find out in the next couple of days, but that's probably not a bad way to go, bringing that extra overseas bowler in.
I quite like this from Nani Core 4. Imagine watching Shamar Joseph and Mayank Yadav bowl together. Well, we still have to wait for poor Shamar Joseph's IPL debut. We hope it's as good, but we can dream about it and get excited by it.
Yeah, but at the moment, I don't think they have to. Mohsin Khan's bowling really well.
Yeah. And Naveen's doing his job as the overseas.
his job as well. So, like, yeah, I mean, we would love to. It's pretty mouth-watering to see 2 really good fast bowlers running from both ends and just blow everybody away. But that's not the reality.
Okay.
But the other thing is they can get blown away as well.
Correct.
You know, and I quite like the idea of Naveen because he provides a point of difference. Comes from an extreme angle. He's got great change of pace. He's a clever and seasoned T20 bowler. So I think it's important to consider, you know, what your attack looks like. Has the captain got options that look different when he needs to for different conditions?
On different surfaces,
Yeah. Punjab Kings might look back at this game and find multiple pockets of where they could have been better. We touched upon briefly the lack of influence Harpreet Brar had as a result of the two left-handers. Varun's brought up how they finished, and Krunal Pandya's excellent innings. You can almost attribute the difference to Krunal Pandya too. There were enough runs to play with for Mayank Yadav to have an impact. But if you have to unpack this game for Punjab, go sequentially as to where you felt they let it slip.
Well, they were winning the game when they were no wicket down for 100. They were in the box seat.
So everything that happened before that is okay.
There were bits and pieces they could just sharpen up on, but there was no sort of real standout, miss by them. Yeah, maybe Bryant could have bowled another over, but would that shift the needle significantly? Probably not. It was a very good surface. Both teams, batted with great freedom on it. At that point, where they were no wicket for 100, they were in control. They were, I think your win predictor was saying that it was 67%.
Yep.
But what they didn't do is manage an unknown bowler. They needed to manage, and they would have known that he bowls fast. Even if they didn't know until they turned up before the start of play, they would have seen warm-ups, and teams watch each other warm up. And they would have looked across the other side and seen this Mayank Yadav bowl to the bowling coach, the mitt, and Morne Morkel 30 yards back, taking him through here like that, and thinking, oh wow, he is quick. So what do you do then? You then manage how you're going to go about, scoring against him. And I felt two experienced players in Shikhar Dhawan and Johnny Bairstow nearly were rattled in that first over, which sent a message through their batting order that, we don't really know how to navigate this pace. Instead of holding really good positions from a batting perspective and using that pace. You don't have to hit him straight down the ground for 6. You're not going to do that with someone that's won 150. But what you can do is use his pace cleverly, beat backward point, beat third man, beat fine leg, just be smart around the way you bat, and don't lose 3 wickets. Let him go for 30 to 35, and you've won the game.
Two really good examples of that historically was Brendan McCullum against Sean Tate, where he couldn't hit him in front of square, so he went to the scoop and took him down in Christchurch. And then generally in the IPL, AB de Villiers, when Bumrah was on and bowling good pace, he'd go behind the stumps as well. So that might be a tactic that they have to employ to try and get him off that pace and bowling pace on all the time, and put him under a bit of pressure in the next couple of games.
The funny part about this, I'll bring you in on this, the first over he actually bowled, they played him perfectly. Dhawan just used the pace
perfectly
and hit it straight. Bairstow got him to cut one, and they then missed a couple, but they got 10 of it quite comfortably. So 2 experienced players at that time, I don't know if they then after the first over thought, yep, we can take this guy on, we have enough wickets, we could play differently. He wasn't a threat in the first over, and I wonder if that worked.
That's where the over of Bishnoi, which went for about 4
just 3 after
Part
3.
of the pressure.
Was built the pressure and meant that Johnny Bairstow had to take a chance and try and force him because and Johnny Bairstow let that pressure get to him. It was 4 dot balls in a row.
That is right.
Before he had that wicket ball where he tried to muscle him over the leg side. So that was good partnership bowling. It's not talked about enough in IPL cricket. It was good partnership bowling from Bishnoi and Yadav.
Excellent point. Right after that came the Bishnoi over for 3, and then Mayank Yadav started an over that conceded just 1 run of the first 3. So all of a sudden you've not got much, asking rate climbs, and it touched 11, just over 11, and Bairstow then has to force
But
these.
still, at that point, they were set. They could have they could have just respected him a little bit and just taken it a little deeper.
I don't think Liam Livingstone came out with the intent to respect him at all.
No, not at all, obviously.
His first
ball,
he went to just swing. Anyway, fascinating, but it is the difference. Mayank Yadav is the point of difference, the pacey point of difference between the Super Giants and the Punjab Kings. We'll find out in a little while from now if he is indeed adjudicated player of the match. Oh, it's a good day to have a quick-fire review of the game with the kind of quick-fire bowling we've seen, so you know how the drill works, gents. I'm going to let all of you have a crack at this. 20 seconds to describe Mayank Yadav. You could just use adjectives if you'd like, or what stood out most. Varun Aaron, starting with you.
He was like Zeus throwing thunderbolts today. That's the only thing I can think of.
I like it, Zeus throwing thunderbolts. Mitch?
It's not often when you're sitting there watching a game of cricket and there's a whole bunch of people in the room with you and chatting away that everyone just stops and watches every ball. And that's what we saw tonight. Everyone stopped and we're just focusing on watching Mayank play.
Tom?
exhilarating, breathtaking, and India's new rocket man.
I like this. So much on pace is pace here. Whatever you say about batting and all of that, we saw that 520 run game. I forgot every ball of it already. Today we'll remember.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, pace is pace. Anyway, that was brilliant. Let's carry on with the rapid fire review. What explains Shikhar Dhawan's slowdown after getting 50 of 30? We've touched upon this. Varun, you can take this. 20 seconds.
Mayank Yadav.
It would take a few more seconds.
No, I'm kidding.
Mayank Yadav.
No. Obviously, Mayank Yadav and Ravi Bishnoi, they like Mitch said, it was a great partnership. And it's not like Shikhar Dhawan is somebody who slows down after getting set. He's somebody who actually accelerates. But like I said, I mean, you got to give credit where it's due. They bowled a really good partnership. And after Bairstow getting out, obviously Shikhar didn't want to accelerate even further after a new batsman at his crease.
Time up. All right. Mitch McClenaghan, how much of an impact did Nicholas Pooran, the captain, have on today's result? 20 seconds.
Yeah, significant. He made the right decisions at the right time, and he showed calmness under pressure, made a couple of tough decisions to bowl Krunal Pandya the 19th, which came off, and to set fields that allowed Mayank Yadav to express himself was key.
All right. Tom Moody, what bearing did the injury of Liam Livingstone have on the game? 20 seconds.
I think given the partnership at the top with Bairstow and Shikhar Dhawan, it sort of negated the potential loss of Livingstone being fully fit. But there's no doubt when you've got a power hitter like Livingstone who is actually just starting to capture some form, it's a significant loss when you're chasing a total of 200.
Okay, Mitch, back to you. Quinton de Kock, Nicholas Pooran and Krunal Pandya, the more decisive knock in the first innings?
More decisive knock was Nicholas Pooran. He really got the momentum going in that middle phase against what is the strength of, I guess he prevented Punjab from bowling their strength, which is Brar in the middle. So he was a threat and he stopped them from being able to go to their best bowlers.
All right. Varun, finally, with Arshdeep Singh and Harshal Patel's early form, is there a cause for concern for Punjab? 20 seconds.
It's definitely a cause for concern because especially Arshdeep Singh, they want him to be firing on all cylinders, bowling their main overs up front, at the back. I mean, they've literally constructed the whole bowling unit around these two because they have only one backup Indian fast bowler, so that is concerning.
Okay, and I've got one more that I missed, but they did tweak their batting lineup slightly today. Tom Moody, Lucknow Super Giants. Is this the batting lineup for them to persist with?
I think they need to go into every game with an open mind with their batting lineup, but there's no doubt that the likes of Stoinis and Nicholas Pooran have to, do some heavy lifting with the batting and face as many balls as possible. Ideally, they need to come in on the back of a solid foundation at the top of the order.
All right, brilliant. Lovely rapid-fire review from our panel, and I know the questions and comments are coming through as well. Everyone's excited about Mayank Yadav. I think it's early days. There are a lot of questions on whether this now looks like how the table might look. I mean, it's only a second round of games where the Punjab look like they're not good enough to make the top four. Maybe we'll put that again in the shed and bring it out a little later. But yeah, there are those that are remembering Varun Aaron bowling rockets. We have some slightly older fans as well. No, not very old. Yeah. And there are those that are likening him also to Jofra Archer. So you're seeing a lot of excitement for this game as a result of the impact of Mayank Yadav. Brilliant, brilliant start. All right. It's time to see who fared well in the pre-match predictions as we enter the impact zone. Tom Moody has won today. He's had a slightly dry couple of days, but what a wonderful win. Have you not had a slightly dry couple of days? Did you win yesterday?
Yesterday was a struggle, but recaptured a little bit of form today.
Bishnoi with 13, I think he deserves a little more.
Maybe I think so too. Your point was a really good point around Bishnoi, and it's not recognised and talked about enough, just those little partnerships that can shift a game, and that really shifted the game.
Yeah, that is why we have you. Can't just rely on numbers, and even though our numbers are more accurate.
What if you pick a player and he gets injured? Do you get like a replacement in between?
That's just tough luck,
Man,
mate.
he hit 28 off 17. What are you complaining about?
You got more than.
He did well, man. Well, my concern is that the impact players that Tom picked were on the losing team. So the impact was pretty piss poor.
Wow.
What Bishnoi was losing today?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I mean, look at Shikhar Dhawan.
Bishnoi got 13.
Sam Curran. You know, if you want to win the game, you've got to take 5 for 26 instead of 3.
So basically, if I am to only calculate impact of winning players today, let's do that and see how it goes.
You know what, Raunak? I reckon you're wasting your time, and there's nothing like a sore loser, is there?
Oh, man. Anyway, as it turns out, he only picked one more player from the losing team than you did.
Exactly.
Wow.
Mitch is having a shocker. Last night was bad.
Come on.
Look, the thing is, Mitch will have 2 goes tomorrow.
2 guys.
There's 2 chances for 2 trophies tomorrow with 2 games tomorrow.
Yep.
That's true. And I'll
So-
do 2 picks like you did a couple of games ago in a row.
You can do what you like. You can do what you like. It's, it's a bit of a walk in
That's
the
also
park
2
at the
chances to get it wrong as well.
It actually does hurt me because we're playing a form of fantasy, and Tom didn't know what fantasy was before this IPL started. So I'm a fantasy fan, and I feel like I'm letting all those fantasy fans out there down.
Yeah.
I just end the
Where are we going with
Thomas
this?
like, what's
Right in the show.
Yeah, I think it's important you close the show at this point.
Thank you
Our
very much.
fantasy man here.
He
Thank
did
you
well
very
with the
much.
quiz today, though, didn't he?
He did very well with the
I
quiz.
got 1, yeah.
Again, he got one less than you. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Tom Moody, Mitch McClenaghan, Varun Aaron. We will remember this day as the day that we got a real taste of the potential of Mayank Yadav. With our best wishes to him, we wrap things up. And we look forward to your company tomorrow on Double Header Sunday. So we will kick off with build-up at 3 p.m. just around the toss for GT against SRH and DCCSK as the IPL moves to Visakhapatnam for the first time this season. Look forward to your company then on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Download the mobile app. If you haven't already, it'll have you covered. I'm sure there will be a lot written, said about Mayank Yadav as well as this game. You'll get updated with the injury of Liam Livingston as Sanjay Bangar is addressing the media just as we speak. So the ESPN Cricket for mobile app will have you covered. We will see you Sunday afternoon. Bye-bye.
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.